Simple question. Why not Miami? A lot of you are doubting Miami because of, admittedly, a rocky start to the Manny Diaz tenure last year. Okay, they didn't go 10-2. They didn't play for a conference championship game. Here's what's happening though, and I want to use that last year, his first year, as a backdrop. Very subpar on the field, very subpar record-wise. Offense was a mess. Quarterback situation was a mess. And so they get Derek King in on the transfer market in the offseason. They make a change at offensive coordinator, get Rhett Lashley in. This is all old news. The newer headlines have to do with recruiting. James Williams, a couple of weeks ago, shocked pretty much everyone outside of South Florida when he decided not to go to Georgia. This is a five-star athlete, chose to stay home, as he put it. Home is not the way a lot of elite South Florida talent has been referring to the basis for their decision lately, staying home. It's been leaving home. So James Williams says, I'm staying home, I'm shutting down my recruitment, I'm going to Miami. Okay, blind squirrel, broken clock, that whole deal. That's pretty much what every rival fan said about Miami when they landed James Williams. And then they looked ahead and they said, well, there's some more five-star talents in South Florida at the same high school, actually. And so let's see how that goes. And Leonard Taylor at the time, a couple of weeks ago, looked to be a big-time battle between Florida and Miami. Well, Leonard Taylor announced today on CBS HQ, no less. And guess where Leonard Taylor is going to play his college football? He's going to Miami. Really big deal. Five-star defensive tackle. And so, very much unprovoked, might I add, our inbox today has just been littered with FSU fans and a whole lot of Florida fans in defense mechanism mode, as I like to call it, because I didn't say anything. It's not like they had me appear on CBS HQ today. It's not like I talked to Leonard Taylor before his decision or anything. To my knowledge, Colin, we haven't even talked about this yet. I mean, we said the announcement was coming, and that's it. And so I'm looking in my inbox today, and I got all these folks just volunteering the notion that, well, several notions, actually, so I wrote them all down. One is, Miami will barely go 500 this year, and all these guys will decommit. And that was one defense mechanism reaction. The second was, well, you can't win a trophy just by recruiting. They don't give away trophies for recruiting titles. Okay. And then the third was, well, guys like that, they're just scared of competition. They don't want to come here. I'm being very non-specific when I say here because multiple fan bases were intimating this. They don't want to come here where the roster's loaded. They want to go there. Easy path to playing time. And then I had the ever popular, I'll take winning on the field over winning in recruiting. So the subculture, we've talked about it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and in some ways I've talked about it for like 10 years, but there is a subculture in college football. You have to be in tune with it. This is not the NFL. The injury reports are not made public all the time. There aren't open practices to the public everywhere. There is a lot of stuff about this sport, even with the major programs, that goes on behind a curtain. But the fortunate aspect is there are always leaks somewhere. You got to know who to listen to. You got to know where to go, and we fancy ourselves as being part of that subculture, but you got to know where to go. And so in Miami circles, there's been a little groundswell as of late. A lot of folks were not necessarily deterred by the rocky start to the Manny Diaz tenure because they felt definite momentum in recruiting. That is validating now with a lot of these big-time commitments. Jason Marshall is the next one that's on everyone's radar. That's a 5-star corner that Miami is battling Alabama for. Our best intel is that Miami has taken the lead for him over the last week to 2 weeks, maybe longer. We'll find out when he finally commits, wherever he's going to commit. But the subculture in Miami is such that there's been this groundswell of momentum. Now, by the very nature of what that subculture is, the positive energy always precedes results. So you got a lot of people. It happens a lot. It's not just Miami. When a program is starting to turn a corner, the subculture feels it before the typical college football public feels it. Fans in Lincoln, Nebraska are not feeling this about Miami yet. Fans in the West Coast are not feeling this about Miami. But Miami folks are. Sometimes it doesn't pan out to anything. Other times it does. But by the very nature of what this entails, it always precedes results. And that's the case right now. Miami is not coming off some banner opening season for Manny Diaz, where they're going out on the recruiting trail and they're telling everyone, hey, look what we were in year one. Man, can you imagine what we're about to do in subsequent years? No, it was very up and down last year. Quite frankly, a lot more down than up. So the casual fan looks and says, what are you idiots so excited for? Like, what bowl were you in last year? Where were you guys? I didn't see you guys around New Year's time. And we were, if you're a Florida fan, we were down in Miami. We were winning another New Year's Six Bowl. You know, we were knocking on the door of this and that. And the point is, all that can be true. And the other point is, there is no guarantee that landing James Williams and landing Leonard Taylor like they did today, there's no guarantee that's going to bring them one more win in the future. You're right, that's not a guarantee. But there's a flip side to that coin. Here's what I can guarantee you. I feel pretty confident putting my signature on this proclamation. I can guarantee you they're not going anywhere if they don't sign a bunch of talent in South Florida. That I can guarantee you. So I can't guarantee you that they're going anywhere with the talent, but I can guarantee you they're not going anywhere without it. So one of the very prerequisites for Miami to ever be back is to start landing kids, multiple kids, in multiple classes, let's be clear, like what they've done so far. Pen has not met paper, so anyone who's holding out hope about these guys decommitting, I can't tell you definitively it won't happen. I can tell you I would bet money it won't happen. And I can tell you also, visit your own heart on this one. I can tell you that I don't really think you believe it either. It's defense mechanism talking. It's your own passion talking. But if I told you you had to take your next paycheck and you had to bet it one way or the other, this is a kind of an alternate universe where we're betting on recruiting, and the wager is yes or no, even money here, yes or no, Leonard Taylor remains committed to Miami all the way to signing day. James Williams remains committed until signing day. Yes or no? Paycheck on the line. What are you betting? You're betting those kids are going to sign with Miami. So stop saying all these things, because most of you don't really believe it. And hey, I'm willing to entertain some offers from those of you who really do believe that they're going to decommit. But I want you to remember, in summary, third time I've made this point, because it's a very important point, this is not happening off a springboard of a 10-2 debut campaign in Miami for Manny Diaz. They were bad last year, and yet they've still gone out, and they have had to participate in what I always like to call vision-based recruiting. Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt are trying to do the same thing right now. If you win a lot, it's easy to sell kids on the concept that you can come here and win, because look, we've already done it. All you got to do is turn on your TV. Well, Manny Diaz can't sell that right now. But yet he's still selling Miami. That's the whole point. And so if he's doing it when their record sucked last year, what happens if they contend for the ACC championship? What happens if they play for an ACC championship this year? What happens if they're on the road at Clemson and whenever they play them? Let's see, I got the schedule here. Week 5, ACC Week 5. What happens if that thing's tied up early fourth quarter? Win or lose? What happens if it's tied up and all of a sudden you're saying, Miami? Miami what? Florida? Yeah, Miami, Florida. Look, they can play football again. Do you think that the recruiting momentum subsides? Do you think it's just limited to these guys? I don't think so. So my question in closing is the same as the question I asked when we opened this. Why not Miami? What is it that's really standing in the way? General and broad incompetence is what has stood in the way down there, and that encompasses a lot of things. What is standing in the way in the future? And if they start kicking down this door or rebuilding a wall, I guess, and keeping a lot of their talent home instead of going to Tuscaloosa and Clemson and Columbus, it's no guarantee that anything's going to happen, but that is the basis for starting the snowball rolling down the hill. So I didn't predict any national championship there. I'm just telling you there is reason for the folks who are confident and very excited about the current and future state of Miami to be excited about the current and future state of the program.